So let's get started on how to build a program for beginners, intermediates, and advanced level lifters. So for beginners, starting with compound exercises that work multiple muscle groups simultaneously is probably the best place to start. Now, how long did you think that it took for me to get from this to this? We aren't talking about fat loss here, but rather a muscle gain. Do you think it took 1 year, 2 years, 10 years? If you said 10 years, then you'd be correct. 10 years of learning, failing, getting better, and refining my craft. So today, we're going to talk about a super simplified way to organize your programming so that you can build muscle as quickly and as effectively as possible. We want to make sure that we're progressing at all times and getting better and making sure that we understand what we're doing as well in the process. We're going to talk about a super simplified way on how to organize your programming so that you can get bigger and better and make sure that you're making gains throughout your whole lifting career. You'll understand how everything works and how you should be applying it to your programming so you can get better.
But before we get into it, I might throw a word around which is called hypertrophy. And what does hypertrophy mean? Well, hypertrophy is the building of your muscles, right? Muscle building on a very small scale where you get bigger over time. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to stress the muscles beyond their capabilities, allowing them to repair, grow bigger, and get stronger. That is hypertrophy.
Resistance training is the cornerstone of muscle building. This involves exercises that challenge your muscles with weight, body weight, or resistance bands. And now we're going to go into some key principles that we need to consider when we're building ourselves a program. Number one is reps. How many times or repetitions you do of a particular exercise. Now, there isn't a specific rep range perfect for muscle building, but in saying that, the range can usually be between 6 and 15. Number two is sets. Sets is the amount of times you complete one round of repetitions. So if you completed 12 reps of a bench press 3 times, then you would have completed 3 sets. Load is the weight that you've selected that you're going to be using whilst in that particular exercise. Intensity at number 4 refers to the difficulty of a particular set or exercise. This is usually calculated by your 1 rep maximum or 1 RM or your reps in reserve, which is RIR. And now when we put all of these things together, we gain something that is called progressive overload. And progressive overload is gradually increasing the difficulty of your workouts over time. This can be achieved by lifting heavier weights, performing more repetitions or sets, or decreasing rest periods between sets. Progressive overload is 100% a non-negotiable principle when it comes to muscle growth. So let's get started on how to build a program for beginners, intermediates, and advanced level lifters. So for beginners, starting with compound exercises that work multiple muscle groups simultaneously is probably the best place to start. But also, creating a program predominantly around machine-based work will create a stable base of strength that will allow for the following exercises to be a bit more effective. Squats, lunges, push-ups, rows, and overhead press are all essential when it comes to building yourself a program. Make sure that we aim for 2 to 3 sessions a week, focus on proper form and moderate weight. And sort of the best way to get started with this is 3 full body programs. So I'll list a couple here that you can look at and you can sort of base your programming off that. 3 full body workouts can be super effective on time and also allow you to hit every single muscle group within that one workout. So potentially you could be maximizing some really great fat burning benefits there. Now let's talk about advanced lifters. So as you gain experience, considering a split workout routine can be quite beneficial. You can increase training volume, which is sets and reps, and you could probably hit the gym more times throughout the week, so increasing frequency. You can start throwing in more advanced techniques like drop sets and supersets, which will only allow you to further stress your muscles and potentially make them bigger and stronger. A 4 to 5 day a week program can be implemented here with something like an upper lower split. And then if you wanted to do 5 days, you could add in some sort of accessory day on muscle groups that you think that you want to attack specifically. Now moving on to advanced lifters. Advanced lifters sort of face a bit of a predicament where there's a diminishing rate of gains in muscle growth. Advanced lifters should be focusing more on their periodization of their programming, so making sure that over a macro cycle, their little micro cycles are effective at building muscle, and that they should be really making sure that they're pushing their bodies to the absolute limit, but also noticing that they need to take the time off as well to be able to continue to recover. So for advanced lifters, I think recovery is probably one of the biggest things that you need to consider. This may involve manipulating training volume, intensity, and exercise selection throughout your cycles. I suggest including more complex training methods like lengthened partials, triple drop sets, all sorts of stuff that's going to test you, and potentially incorporating higher training frequencies, so in between 4 to 6 days a week. Advanced lifters should really understand how to manipulate their reps, sets, intensity, frequency, load, which all circles back around to progressive overload. Now, I won't put a workout up on the screen for an advanced lifter or even intermediate lifters, only because they can get quite specific. So if that's something that you're looking for, send me a DM or send me a message on Instagram or YouTube, and we'll get talking, and I can definitely help you with something like that. Regardless of your level, you need to make sure that you prioritize proper form to reduce injury and increase muscle gains. Allow for adequate rest between workouts, because really, muscle growth occurs primarily in between our workouts. Now, nutrition plays a huge role when it comes to muscle building, right? So ensure that you are getting a sufficient protein intake in every single day. I'm going to put the numbers up here, which is around 1.6 grams to 2.2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. Focused on a balanced diet with complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, and plenty of fruit and vegetables. Now, another quick couple of considerations that we need to think about when it comes to your training is that you need to make sure that you're getting enough sleep throughout the night, right? So around 7 to 8 hours is usually considered pretty optimal, and making sure that you're managing your stress. If you're stressed, you're not going to build muscle. Manage your cortisol, manage your stress, make sure that you lift heavy shit, right? Go to the gym. That might unstress you. Unstress. Maybe like meditate or some shit. That might be better. So there you have it, guys. That is my basic principles when it comes to creating your own program, making sure that you are progressively overloading and stressing your muscles, and making sure that you're giving yourself enough rest time and adequate recovery time to be able to grow in between workouts. So if this is something that you found interesting, or you learned something from this particular YouTube video, then make sure you hit the subscribe button, right? Also, I have a Twitch channel that I have been pushing a lot of my fitness content onto. Go and check that out on Twitch up here too. Don't know if there's going to be a link there. The links will be down below, but you can check me out on Twitch. Also, I'm on Instagram as well. Go give me a quick like on there if you feel like that's appropriate too. Usually post a little bit more life stuff up there, which is kind of cool. A lot of my transformations from all my clients are up there too, so you can go and have a look at that as well. So if you learned something, guys, make sure that you give this a like, comment, I learned something. And if you didn't learn anything, type in, I didn't learn anything, you're a dickhead. At least it'll be a comment. Anyway, guys, thank you for hanging around. I appreciate you, and I'll see ya on the next one. See ya.